Throughout this karmic cycle, I've been dealing with some really low life men, and there's like a ton of them. And they came in like the form of like babalaos and spiritual healers and wanting to be boyfriends. Meanwhile, these people had nothing. One of them came up to me and said, "Oh my God, your energy, I love your energy." Then he started doing spell work on me, the babalao. And then he started doing spell work against my family members, children who were 2 or 3 years old. Like he started harming them and lying on them and sending spirits to confuse their head, so much so that it was trying to mess with the way that they were learning. But these people are such, these people were very cruel, especially this guy, because he went around pretending to be a healer, which he wasn't, but was, his house was filled with like darkness. And his garage, he had stones that he was feeding blood to. And he said there were spirits that were helping, and they weren't spirits that were helping. There were spirits that were sent to harm, so he can receive finances. And anybody that went to this babalao for healing, he actually did the opposite. He created more chaos and conflict. And I noticed he did this to a lot of women of color. Not so much his, I think he was Cuban. And so he did this mostly to women of color that were single parents, because I know, because I met a whole bunch of women through him that were single parents that he was trying to help. He has some sort of vengeance against women of color, and he has something that doesn't sit right with me. There's like some form of hate and control and narcissistic abuse that this guy carries, because he wanted to control the way I paid him money and the way I saw him. He wanted to control that for me. But there was something about his energy that made me dislike him. He was very insecure because he lived with his father. I guess the woman he had children with had given up on him, and he wasn't with her anymore. But I also met a bunch of other like islanders, like men were that either from the Dominican Republic or somewhere in the States, like that were very demonic and very like, their energy was like sewer maiden energies. And they would, this guy, like all he wanted to do was like, oh, I can't even talk about how disgusting he was on a physical level. But he never took his socks off, and there was something wrong with his feet, and there was something wrong with his mouth, because his chin was, it was either deformed or there was something about his chin. He used a lot of powder, and this guy for many years used spell work and witchcraft. I mean, like heavy dark magic on me, to the point where he studied me and wanted to be me, to the point where his karma was so bad. Like he picked, like this is somebody that abuses and uses violence to control people around him, and uses fear to make people do what he wants them to do. It was a form of control, because this was a person that couldn't control himself. He didn't know how to control his emotions. There was something wrong with him. There was something offbeat, and his energy was really disgusting. And he was doing love spells. And I ended up meeting him, and the day I met him, as I said, I cried, because I knew that this person was going to try and take my life. So for a number of years, this guy did spell work on me. He would stalk me. He would watch me to make sure his spell work was working. Then he sent hovering mind spirits, because then I started blocking him in a physical. And now he started doing stuff spiritual to me. And he wanted me to lose my mind. He wanted to make sure, he was going around lying on me, telling people that I was everything that he was, that I was crazy, that I was doing drugs, that I didn't have any money. So these were all projections, that I was living in the streets, that I didn't have anything. So these were all things that he was going through. If there was something he was going through, he would project it onto me. So people could, this person was so dark that he was using demons to create that whole story of I was who he was, that I was broke. Meanwhile, I was not broke. Meanwhile, I had jobs, but he would make me get fired from them because what he did was he sent these entities to lie on me. And when he lied on me, he saw, like, after a while, the spell work stopped working. After a while, the lies, I was just trying to be myself. So this guy started studying me. It wasn't only him, it was a bunch of men from Peru that started studying me and was studying my wisdom and my knowledge. And because they had put me through so much spell work, so much lies, so much poverty and the losses that they created for me, they didn't want me to heal or get out of what I was going through. So they did it every single day, every second of every day. They tormented and tortured me and my family. And to the point where they caused so much chaos that I couldn't find a job. I was having problems with the neighbors around me. And this was all intentional. These were the things that these people were doing to me to make me lose a home, to make me lose stability, to make me lose finances, to make me not like myself. They did so much rejection spells on me. They did so much hate that they projected on me. They could not stand me. All because I was an individual that carried my individuality, whatever their agenda was that they were pushing on me. I wasn't acting it out. So they got mad and they got angry and they started studying me. And every time I overcame something that they tried to do to me, they would come back and do it twice as hard the next time. But the thing is, because of my resilience and the power of the Most High God, I got through it. I got through it with his strength. But these people started pretending that they were me because they've studied me for so long and were trying to take on my identity. They were trying to make themselves seem like they were divine, that they were godly, and they were walking by God's instructions, and they were not. I can't imagine how this sounds so far-fetched that someone would go through these lengths. Someone created so much karma that they couldn't handle their impoverished life. So they started projecting it onto me and started switching identity with me. And started projecting onto me that I was a loser like he was, that I was crazy, that I had no money, that I had no job, that I was living in poverty. But these are all the things this guy projected on me. Then started studying me to see how I was getting over what he was doing to me. So he was using me almost like a guinea pig. This guy does not like women. This guy, and for a woman to be stronger than he is in the spiritual realm, he lost his ego. So now he started competing and making sure that he's the man, and his ego started taking over, and he started doing more and more evil towards me, and it became very violent. Like the spell work that he was doing, the demons that he was sending, all these things became violent, like it was attacking me with violence, to the point where if I laugh, something would come and attack my smile, something would come and attack my happiness, to drain my energy, because this guy could not stand the fact that I got over what he did to me. And he kept on coming at me and coming at me. And now he studied me for so long to see how I would react. And I wasn't reacting the way he wanted me to, and I wasn't behaving the way he wanted me to. So he'd drive around the block and watch me to make sure his spell work was working. And he would do it 5 times harder, 6 times harder. He would pay 5 more people, 10 more people to do his shit, to do his bidding for him. This guy is still out there. And now it's time for him to reap what he sowed. I pray and I ask, if you listen to this video, take from it what you want that can help you. But there's men out there that are so insecure that they'll do anything to spoil a woman who is better than them, who looks better than them, who is a hard worker while they're lazy and they sit at home. Like this guy sits at home and watches me all day. Like that's what gives him joy. Like who lives like that? Meanwhile, he can't get up and wash himself or take a bath. Like it's disgusting. So anyways, whoever's listening to this video, if you're coming across somebody like this, it's a good chance that you should get out because this person does not mean you any good.